Youth ministry. This is AC. This is Kurt. Let's talk youth ministry, people.
What's up, dude?
How are you?
Good to see you.
How are you doing?
I'm good. I was thinking some joke about your Angels hat. How it's all black, like maybe you blackened out the logo so it's a little less visible. Now that us Angel fans are struggling.
Oh, I had a guy tell me to throw my hat away.
He did
the
what?
other day. Yeah.
Well, that's not a true fan. A true fan never throws his hat away.
Well, he's a Dodgers fan, and I said, "Well, you got to throw your hat away too."
So Matt Hall.
Right.
Matt Hall is one of our youth pastors at one of our other campuses. Major rabid Dodger fan.
Yeah.
So after the Angels get swept, and I think did they overlap like by a game or something? Maybe the Dodgers were down 0-1 or something.
Yeah.
Angels get swept. Matt goes on Facebook and he says, "Now we know who the best baseball team in in Southern California is." Blah blah blah. I just waited a little while.
Too soon.
Yeah, and they lose him.
Yeah.
So the Dodgers were exactly one game better than the Angels.
Yeah.
Terrible
The
disappointment.
worst.
I actually thought it would be a freeway series. I thought this is the year we could have Angels and Dodgers in the World Series.
That would be
And
incredible.
we didn't come very close to that.
That would be incredible, but I don't necessarily care that much about baseball.
I don't either. I don't either. I really don't either.
All right. Well, let's not talk about it.
Okay, sorry.
Um,
But, there's people from Kansas City who are watching this.
That's
They love
true.
baseball.
That's true.
Even if they didn't like baseball, they love it now.
That's true.
So.
We
All
did
right.
visit the Louisville.
The Louisville Slugger
plant.
Yep. Whose baseball bat was
Indiana.
that?
I can't remember.
Oh, gosh, I can remember. He's a Cardinal. Anyway, we held somebody's baseball bat.
They were making them.
Yeah, they were making his bat. So
Yeah.
it's awesome. Okay, but we don't care that much about baseball.
No, we
so
don't.
let's not talk
We
about
don't.
it. All right.
So this is Let's Talk Youth Ministry.
Yep.
We've put out. This is actually our 24th show.
This is show 24.
Show 24.
Ooh, okay.
Yeah.
So our
it's
next
been quite a few.
episode is our 25th anniversary.
It is.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Okay, we'll have to have a special guest or something.
Yeah.
Okay, we'll figure that out. Show
Or
25.
or we do 24 minutes or 25 minutes.
Ooh. No, that sounds...
That's cheesy.
Okay.
Never mind.
All right.
But I wanted to just share with you two things. One, how to subscribe. You'll probably see something pop up right now. You can subscribe to us. That'll take you actually to our page where you can watch shows that we've done before on various topics.
All
answer
23
questions.
previous shows.
All 23 previous shows you can watch. And hopefully it gives you something that you can apply and learn and share. Another thing, if you have questions, you can go to talkyouthministry@gmail.com. You can email us there any questions that you have or any comments.
Or just a
that you
topic
wanna
that
make.
you'd like us to talk
Yeah.
about. You don't have to have a question. You can just say, I'd love to hear you guys talk about marriage.
Yeah.
And there may not be a question, but that's a good topic to talk
It's a
about.
good talk.
Whatever the case may
Yeah,
be.
well, then we'll get somebody to come in here and talk about
While we listen and take
While
notes.
we listen, right.
All right. We'll get our wives to come in and talk about it.
Right.
Ooh, maybe for our 25th show, we'll have the wives with us. Would Sandra come on?
She would totally do it.
She would? I'm not afraid.
I don't know how much you'd get out of her.
Okay,
Right?
we'll figure it out. All right.
But those are the two ways that you can kind of interact with us. One, subscribe. Two, send us an email. We love to hear feedback and questions that you may have. So today's show,
Yes.
we had kind of ended last small groups, the previous show. Last week we had how to grow your ministry. And at the end I asked Kurt a question, and it was, what do you think about, what's the first thing you think about when you think about growing your youth ministry? And he gave me one, but today we're going to give two each.
Okay.
Of just things that we think about when we think about growing ministry.
Yeah.
And maybe, hopefully this is something you might be already doing, or hopefully we can add to that and help you in your, in your mission to grow your ministry. So, Kurt, why don't you kick us off, give your two, and then I'll share my two.
Well, and I think, at least when you ask a question, I'm just kind of sharing my two gut responses.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I think, honestly, if I were to sit down and really go, there's only two things. I'm not sure if these are the only two things,
Yeah.
but this is what came to mind right away. The first one is the one that you asked me last week.
Yeah.
I mean, that was just a total gut response.
Yeah, it was good, though.
I think one of the best ways, not the only best way, and maybe not the number one best way, but one of the best ways to grow your ministry is to multiply yourself. And it's not a new concept. Most leaders, most youth workers know that at some point, I can't do this thing all by myself.
Yeah.
I think sometimes what we underestimate is how much multiplying ourselves actually contributes to growth.
Yeah.
we oftentimes think multiplying ourselves just helps us get a little bit more done. I've got these 15 tasks, and I can only do 13 of them. So now it's time to find somebody to do 2 of them, and then I can add 2 to my 2 more,
Two
and then
more.
it becomes like a time management / effectiveness / personal boundaries. I don't burn out method, as opposed to recognizing that where you multiply yourself or how you multiply yourself really can be sort of a church growth strategy, a youth group growth strategy, because when you multiply yourself, especially not just in tasks, I think multiplying yourself by giving away tasks is sort of like incremental growth, because every time I give somebody a task, now maybe I have a little bit more time as a leader to do growth-oriented stuff.
Yeah.
But it's still just one person doing growth-oriented stuff and other people doing tasks. If you can learn to trust people and learn to give ministry away, so you multiply yourself, not just, hello? Who dat?
Me.
Who's me? Who?
Dude, you're in the middle of a podcast.
Come in here real quick.
What?
Come here real quick. Get in here. Lean in here. Commercial break. Kyle Coleman. Kyle does all our t-shirts, our
probably can't see
hats,
'em.
our nice hats. Can you lean in, Kyle?
Oh, yes.
Our hats. What's your website? If somebody wants to order,
www.clearmediagroup.com.
www.clearmediagroup.com.
Yes. Very cool.
The very
Thank
best
you for the plug.
t-shirt, hat, sticker,
Swag
logo
guy. I
guy.
love those, man.
Yeah, these are.
Did you get one?
These are
Yeah, I
nice.
got one.
All right.
Thank
good
you.
deal.
Yeah.
All right.
Nice to see you
Thank you.
guys. All right. Take it easy. Thank you.
Yep.
Help-
Sorry.
Wow.
We
no.
should have just ignored that.
Do you remember?
I actually thought that was Steve Adams, our children's pastor.
Oh.
So that would have been a really cool person to put in here. Instead, it was our t-shirt guy, who's an awesome guy.
We'll have to bill him for that advertisement. No.
Do I remember what?
Oh, where you were.
Yeah, if you can multiply yourself by giving away leadership stuff,
Yeah.
Ministry stuff,
Yeah.
so you empower people to do more than just run errands for you,
Yeah.
to do more than just organize the closet, right? Because that doesn't really help your ministry grow. It only does in that it frees me up.
Yeah.
But I want to free up other people to do, like pastor level stuff.
Yeah.
So when they're out caring for people, or they're out showing up on the high school campus in my place so I can be at another campus or whatever, then that is like exponential growth instead of just incremental little bits of growth.
Yeah.
It's not easy. It takes a lot of time. But at some point, and I'm not sure what the magic number is, but at some point, very early, I think, in a youth ministry, the youth pastor needs to really begin to practice the art of empowering other people to do significant pieces of ministry that aren't just little details, but they're actually,
Making copies.
ministerial. Yeah, not just doing that, but doing the real stuff. So one would be multiply.
I think I think what you're getting at is being intentional also. So you need to multiply yourself, but being intentional about where you're putting these people for, for growth. If that's your goal, multiply yourself intentionally.
Just like most full-time youth workers are not wired for the little minutia. We like being with people. That's true with a lot of our volunteers.
Yeah.
And most of our volunteers do not get excited by going and shopping for our snacks for Wednesday night.
They'll do it.
They'll do it. But if you can give them something that they feel has a significant kingdom impact, then they get excited and they'll give it more time and they'll do it better and they'll bring people along for the journey, which then results in growth. Another way I would grow, and this would probably be my number one, going all the way back down to the very, very basics. And I would say you grow, or you set the stage for growth.
Yeah.
So this might not be immediate growth, but by having like a reason for your existence, a purpose statement, a mission statement. Why do we exist as a youth ministry? I mean, that's our purpose-driven model, right? Is why do we exist? So that we know what to say yes to, what to say no to. We've got this built-in filter to kind of filter our options. Everybody on our team, we've got a whole bunch of people on our youth ministry team. It's very likely that people would have different opinions, different options, and that's all good. But the purpose statement, or why do we exist, gives us a built-in filter for all of our ideas, all of our creativity. And when parents ask, why do you do it this way? Why do you do it this way? We have a defense.
Yeah.
When we're trying to convince a new family that this is the youth group for their child to come to, we can explain it very clearly. And how you would explain it is almost identical to how I would explain it, which is almost identical to how one of our interns would explain it, because we have this model, this common purpose for our existence.
Yeah, that's good.
Kids aren't coming to the youth group because of that. They don't really understand all of that. But it's kind of like it's the foundation that everything else is being built on, which then obviously helps growth. So those would be my two.
No, that's good.
How about you?
One would be just know your target would be one, and it really ties into what you just said, because once you understand why you exist, then you can go out and kind of like bring in those students or put all your energy and all your focus into that area. For a lot of people, friendship evangelism is probably where their target is, meaning they don't necessarily have like close schools in the vicinity for them to go out and do things at and bring students in, or they're small, so every student that's actually in the church is already in the youth group. And so the first one would probably be like, how do I empower my students to reach their friends? And so if that's kind of like your target, where you're going after your students' friends, then that's where I would focus all of my energy. But you need to know that. I think sometimes we just want students.
Well, that's what I was going to ask. I mean, I hear you saying that, and I know exactly what you're saying because I believe that. I imagine other people are going, well, isn't every teenager our audience? I mean, every teenager is our audience. So how do you respond to that?
Well, I would say it's really based off how your church is ran. So if your church is more, and I think every church is already targeting someone, even though they don't know it. It's just how it's set up. So some are discipleship driven.
Okay.
And so if you look at the core, if you look at in context of how everything is, there's this huge discipleship piece. And so you're really going after students who are probably predisposed to some level of Christianity or something. So you're going after them, and if that's your church, that's totally fine. You just need to know that so that you're not wasting energy focusing on students that you're never gonna bring in. Gotcha. Does that make sense?
Totally. Okay, number 2 for you.
Number 2 is we try to be as visible as we possibly can. I think I've heard you say this before, but don't be the best kept secret in the whole church. If you're not as visible on the weekend to the larger group or the larger congregation where parents may be able to bring their kids to your youth group, try and figure out how do I get in front of those parents. Right. If you are in a vicinity where there are schools, how do I get with the schools? Even if you have an FCA, which is probably the largest Christian group in America.
Right.
How do I get there? Even if you're just a presence, it doesn't mean you have to come and speak, but even if you're, I've been to some of our schools and I'll just go to FCA and hang out. And normally they'll have time where they pray for students and stuff, and they'll invite me up to help pray for students. Well, I've just exposed students to, a church, our youth group, and I'm building relationships there. And so I think kind of bring your mindset to, the word advertisement. People don't necessarily like it when it comes to church because
then change it to awareness.
Yeah.
Right? Aware. Like, make people aware. Yeah. Look for every opportunity you can to get the families of your church aware of what's going on. Kids at the school aware of what's going on. We've got this brand new sports park being built across the street from our church. We've got to figure out ways. How? All those families, all those kids are going to be playing baseball, softball, soccer, Pop Warner football, aware of what's happening right across the street in our youth group, right? So building awareness, if you don't like the word marketing or advertising.
Yeah, I think that's a better, awareness is probably a better, but you just want to move in that space, and don't think it's a bad thing that you want to get, your youth ministry out there, because, 9 times out of 10, if people know that you're there, they know what you're offering for students, they may be interested to come. At least let's go check it out.
Right.
My kid is not doing, even parents who know friends that have kids that are probably maybe not going in the right direction. Hey, come to the church. We have a great youth group that loves on students, and messages are geared towards students that they can apply today and right now. That makes a huge difference in the mind of a parent who's going, how do I get my kids moving in the right direction? How do I get them engaged in church?
Yeah. So this are our 4, and they may not be the top 4, or they certainly wouldn't be our only 4 ways to grow a youth ministry. It'd be know why you exist, have a purpose statement, have a vision.
Know your purpose statement.
Know your purpose statement. Know who you're trying to go after. Yes, we're trying to go after every kid, but we may not be trying to go after every kid through everything we do.
Yeah.
Right? Having a target for certain things. Build awareness in your community.
Yeah.
And multiply yourself.
Yeah.
That's 4 pretty good. Let's close by me saying this. I think I think one of the keys to growth is, and not everybody has this, but a lot of people in this generation of youth workers, we're almost embarrassed that we think about numerical growth. Because we've begun to be to have it instilled in us that we should just be organic and we should be doing nothing but loving kids. And anytime we try to manufacture any level of growth, that's worldly, and it's not God-honoring, and it certainly doesn't bear any long-lasting fruit.
Yeah.
And I'm not sure any of those statements are true.
Yeah.
I don't think we dishonor God by being creative to attract students.
Yeah.
And I'm not convinced that it never bears any long-term fruit.
Yeah.
So I would say don't be afraid of the idea of growth, and don't let somebody else who is more discipleship-driven, or they're a little bit more event adverse, they don't like it.
Yeah.
Don't let that dictate how you decide to go after it.
Yeah.
There's lots of ways to grow your ministry, and how you grow your ministry or what you focus on, it will have different results. I mean, so if you're growing your ministry on big crazy game nights and you're giving away Xboxes, that's not necessarily terrible. It's not even necessarily bad.
Yeah.
It's just going to result in a different type of growth and a different expectation of kids coming.
Yeah.
But it's not, if you grow your ministry from the inside out, maybe that's the 2 ways, outside in or inside out, neither way is wrong or good or better or worse than the other. They will have different results. The ultimate end might look a little bit different, and just because one person says it's wrong doesn't mean it's wrong.
Yeah.
Or one person says this is the best way doesn't mean it's the best way. Figure it out for yourself. I think our youth groups should be growing because there's a whole lot of teenagers. We're about half a mile from a high school with 3,000 kids.
Yeah. Yeah.
Most of those high school students don't come to our high school program.
Yeah.
So there's nothing ungodly about going, how can we attract more of those students to what we're doing, because we know what we're doing has a potential to change their life.
Yeah.
And same is true with what people watching this are doing as well. So
I think the funnel that we use, I believe those who are probably more, hey, if we get them in, we train them up, we focus all our time on them, teaching them how to go out and reach. I definitely think there's growth there, but there's still some type of funnel, because every student that you get in that's going to sit down in that seat may not want to go out,
right,
or may not be great at going out the way that you think that they should be,
right,
to reach friends or reach students. I think it's a reverse where we allow, or we say, hey, let's bring as many students in, bring them through the funnel, and then send them out and not put the pressure on them to say, hey, you guys need to be getting your friends here to church. This is what church is about. It's about you guys and putting that pressure. Of course, they need to be sharing and reaching their friends for Christ. But should I put the burden of them to be filling seats for me in my youth group?
Yes and no.
It's a
right. Yes and no. We don't want to just do church for them.
Totally.
And, they gotta have some skin in the game.
Totally.
And bring a friend. And when they do bring a friend, we better make it good and make them proud that they brought a friend.
Yeah.
And we also need to equip them to share their faith on their own, so they don't just have to bring a friend, but they can
totally.
tell the friend about Jesus whether or not they ever bring them to church.
Yeah.
Anyway, we could go on and on and on.
Totally.
We kind of are. All right, that's it.
We will continue.
So, send us an email with a question or topic at, what's the email address?
TalkYouthMinistry.com.
TalkYouthMinistry.com.
TalkYouthMinistry@gmail.com.
Yes, TalkYouthMinistry@gmail.com. Subscribe to us. There's that little, can you make it wave over one more time right now?
Yeah, right there.
Right there. Subscribe, click it right there. There it is. Don't miss it. There it is. Okay. See you guys next time. 25th show next time.
Peace out.
Peace out. Bye.